Hey guys, it's Candy, so welcome back. I thought for today's video I would pop in here and talk with you guys about anxiety and panic attacks. I had a panic attack on the way home from Vegas while I was in the airplane. I actually had two of them, but the first one was way worse than the second time. And I posted some things on my Instagram and asked you guys if you wanted me to talk more about this, and it was an overwhelming response that yes, you did want me to talk about it. And so I figured I would pop in here and share it, talk about it, get the conversation going, because I think this is something that I'm going to have a little bit of a, I don't want to say long road ahead of me, but I think it's time that I go to the doctor, I get probably some blood work and stuff done, and see if I can find some answers on where my problems are stemming from and that sort of thing. So I thought I would share with you guys before I go to the doctor, before I get digging a little bit deeper into like what really is going on. I thought I would just kind of bring you guys all up to date, let you know what I've experienced so far, what I've gone through, what I've done that has helped me, and then what I'm planning on doing in the future. So let's just get into that right now. So one thing I did jot down last night, I just wanted to read these two things, and then we're going to talk about what happened to me on the airplane home from Vegas. And by the way, we have two Vegas vlogs. Those will be going up later this week. So I had just looked up the definition of anxiety and panic attack, because I think a lot of times they're interchangeable. People call a panic attack anxiety and vice versa. So I'm trying to educate myself a little bit more. So I thought I would just share with you guys what I read. This says anxiety is a condition defined as excessive, persisting worry over an imminent event such as a death or illness, or even minor events such as being late for an appointment or other uncertain outcomes. Symptoms include fatigue, hypervigilance, restlessness, and irritability, and are often chronic. And then panic attacks, on the other hand, are short bursts of extreme fear, often accompanied by increased heart rate, brief chest pain, or shortness of breath. Your body is in immediate fight or flight overdrive. Other symptoms can include perspiration, trembling, feelings that one will go crazy or die, heart palpitations, or shallow breathing. So, I'm definitely having panic attacks, not so much anxiety. I don't know if when I have some of my minor episodes, if those would be more defined as anxiety versus panic attack, but my worst experiences that I have had thus far definitely fall under the definition of a panic attack. Just to make that clear, I'll get more into kind of like what I have felt and what I go through. I'm actually sitting outside Target right now. I just find when I get in my car, it's easy for me to like clear my head and chat with you guys without like being interrupted and that sort of thing. So that's why here we are in my car again. So anyways, if we go all the way back to when did Candy first experience a panic attack? And I could think back to probably about maybe 6 years ago. I was at the hair salon and it was so stupid. She was putting color in my hair and I felt like I had an itch, but you can't really itch your head because it's filled with all this hair color, and then you don't want to mess up what they're doing. I get highlights, so I have like just foils all over my head, but I kept thinking I need to itch my head, but I can't itch my head, but I want to itch my head, but I can't itch my head. Just kept going back and forth. After probably a minute or two is when all of a sudden I had to speak up and say, I feel like I'm freaking out right now. I feel like I can't breathe. I need a drink of water and I need to itch my head. And my hairstylist actually has someone in her family that she like has experience with this. So she like kind of knew what was happening and we worked through it, and it was very minor, no big deal. I thought it was just like a one time, no big deal. I don't know why it happened. It just came out of the blue. Many years later, probably about a year ago maybe, I had gotten acrylic nails put on, and I had an episode. This was the worst one that I experienced up until the airplane incident a couple days ago. That was really bad. It was late at night. Ken and I were going to bed. I was like, I need to get these nails off right now. They're hurting my fingers. I was trying to pick them off. They would not come off. I just totally freaked out. Felt like I couldn't breathe. I kept going, like, you know, trying to catch my breath. Started pacing the room, walking back and forth. Got to the point where I told him, I think you're going to need to take me to the emergency room. Not because I needed my nails taken off, but because I felt like I couldn't get enough air to breathe. So then that's what was freaking me out. Not the nails anymore. It's I can't breathe. And he ended up giving me a Valium because he takes that to fly. My husband does. Ken does. So he's like hates flying so much and takes Valium every time we fly. He has been for years. Doesn't have any other anxiety or panic or anything over anything else in life except just fear of flying. And I don't have a fear of flying, which is weird. Okay, so that was like the worst. Took the Valium, calmed down, slept fine through the night, no big deal. Had acrylic nails since then, but have always still sort of struggled a little bit with getting to a point where I'm like, I need them off. And I personally think it's just like this control thing of I want to take them off and I can't take them off. Because if you ever had acrylic nails before, it hurts bad to think like, okay, I'm just going to peel these off right now. You can bite them, you can do all these different things that are not easy to take off. So to me, it just seems like it's a control thing that, like, you know, if you have a ring on and you want to take it off, I can take it off. If all of a sudden this ring got super swollen on my finger and I couldn't get it off, I would probably panic over not being able to take it off. So that was the worst episode. Then, you guys know, or you may not know, I started working with a personal trainer in January of this year. So we're on month 7. And 2 times now while I have been working out with the trainer, I've had a panic attack. One was bad to the point that, like, I've discovered that if it's kind of a bad panic attack, it's also followed by this like rush of emotion where I always end up just start, like, I don't want to say hysterically crying, but like really, really crying, not just tears, like crying. That happened one time. And with the exercise induced anxiety or panic, I have read, and again, I love any of your guys' feedback that you have to offer on this topic, your own experiences or whatever. Comment down below or DM me through Instagram, whatever. I read something that said when you exercise and it increases the adrenaline in your body, sometimes it is the adrenaline that causes your body to go kind of into like panic mode. So for me, with the exercise induced panic attack, it would come from a place of I'd be doing a bunch of exercises, starting to get out of breath, looking at the time, thinking, okay, it's only been 20 minutes. We usually work out for about 45 minutes. We're barely halfway through. Trainer will say something like, oh, we have to do this 3 more times. And then I start to panic, thinking, oh my God, we have to do all of that 3 more times. Like, it was never, oh, I'm doing like burpees or something and it's so hard, I can't breathe, I'm gonna panic. It's more of a mental thing of, this was really hard, you have to do this 3 more times. Or it would always be the break in between exercises that my mind would start thinking about evaluating what more I had to do, and that's what would make me panic. So it would be kind of like I'd never be able to like run in a race or bike in a race or something like that, because my mind would be on, oh my God, I'm only halfway through, I'm dying. There would be the panic because whatever. I would just force my brain into calculating the time and thinking, oh my God, I'm only halfway through, I can't do this kind of thing. So with the working out with the personal trainer, it happened 2 times. I had discovered another influencer that I follow on Instagram. She had shared how she buys this CBD from this company called Equilibria, and I bought a starter kit from them. It included these melts that you can just put under your tongue, and that's 5 milligrams of CBD. It included these drops. It said like daily something drops maybe, and then it includes 10 milligram soft gels. So I did the under the tongue thing a few times, and then I was like, you know what, that's only 5 milligrams. I'm gonna go ahead and just do the 10 milligrams, play it safe. Oh my God, I can't talk. Play it safe. And so now I've been doing the 10 milligram soft gels, 30 minutes every time, twice a week before my trainer comes, and I've never had any other issues. So coincidence? Maybe. Or does it work? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like that's the hard thing when it comes to anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that, is whenever you're dealing with something that's kind of related to mental health, it is a mental thing. It is a mental game almost. Like your mind can be playing tricks on you. Is the CBD only working because I think it's working, so then I don't panic because, oh, I'm fine, I took CBD? I don't know. It's just, it's safe, it's non-prescription. Like, I figured I would just try it, and so far so good. So like, why, change what's working? I'll probably keep doing that for the rest of the time that we're working this with the personal trainer. Never happens when I'm working out on my own, but that's because I'm in control. If I need to stop and take a break or catch my breath, no one's going to tell me not to do that. So never an issue when I'm working out by myself. So brings us to current date. So here we are on the airplane coming home from Vegas. There were parts of our trip that were a little stressful, little, I guess, not difficult. Put it this way, taking 4 21-year-olds to Vegas who obviously even after 18 years old, they're responsible for themselves. But Ken and I felt a huge sense of responsibility taking these guys to Las Vegas. They were our responsibility. Regardless, nobody's parents put that on us, but that's just how we felt. So there is a certain amount of like build up of stress leading up to the trip, just thinking, gosh, I hope nothing bad happens. I hope nobody drinks too much, passes out, bashes in their head, etc., etc. Like your mind can just go crazy on everything that could have happened. Got everybody home safe. We're all on the airplane coming home. I remember even, because we flew home first class, guys are all in the back. We have our like Delta points and all, Delta, American Express and all that crap, so we usually get like discounts on flights and stuff. So anyways, they're in the back. I remember sitting in my seat, them walking by like, we're getting them home, we're flying home. Okay, I don't have a fear of flying. That wasn't an issue. I started watching this movie on the screen called Our Friend with Dakota Johnson and Casey Affleck, and it was super sad, super emotional. Definitely heightened my emotion. I hate when I watch sad movies on airplanes, because then you're, like crying and whatever on airplane, and you're like, oh gosh, why am I doing this to myself? I should be watching something funny instead. So I don't really think that had anything to do with it, but I just want to be like, I want to share everything, so like I said, you guys can provide me with like feedback and, like for you to say, yes, this is how it happens with me or whatever. So I'm watching that, and all of a sudden I'm realizing, probably about 30-40 minutes into the movie, 30-40 minutes into the flight, that it's so bright in the airplane. And usually, everybody keeps their little windows closed, and it's somewhat dark, almost feels like nighttime. It's weird then when you land and all of a sudden it's bright, because you're like, I feel like I just went through like an evening and here it's like daytime already. I don't know, it's kind of a weird, if you fly, you know what I mean. For whatever reason, the lady behind me had her window open. I recognized it in the beginning, didn't think anything of it, but all of a sudden it entered into my head of, I hate how bright it is in here. Like, we're way high up in the sky. Like, why? I don't know. Like, why does it have to be so bright in here? And I'm like, I wonder if she's like reading a book, or like, why does she need this window open that's like lighting up the whole first class area? Like, can't she just close her window? And the minute it like entered in my head that like, okay, I can't turn around and tell this lady, can you close your window? Like, that seems so rude. And before you knew it, it just happened like that quick, that it got in my head that I couldn't make it dark in there. I wanted to make it dark in there. I needed to make it dark in there, but it wasn't my window to close. So all of a sudden I'm like looking around. I had made note that the guy that was sitting in front of Ken, in front of both of us, whatever, was a doctor, because when we had got on the plane, he was talking to a patient. He was either like a plastic surgeon or something, because he was talking to her about her skin healing. So either dermatologist, plastic surgeon, something. And I'm thinking, okay, if I really, and this is my mind and it's all going blah, 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 really fast. Okay, if I really need a doctor, he's a doctor. He can help me. Or I'm sure these flight attendants, they have to know what to do when somebody's having a panic attack. But they probably think I'm having a panic attack because I'm afraid of flying. But I'm not afraid of flying. I just don't like this bright light behind me. Like, all that went through my head real quick. So I decided to tell Ken. I lean over like this and I'm like, Ken, can you please ask the lady behind us to close her window? I'm like totally freaking out. I'm panicking. I just need her to close the window. So right away, Ken is not like someone who's obviously afraid to like speak to other people. Right away, he's like, ma'am, my wife's having a little bit of anxiety right now. Would you mind closing your window? Sure, no problem. Closes her window. And then he's like, do you want one of my pills? And I'm like, sure, even though I don't really know how long it takes for Valium to kick in. Again, still probably could help me mentally of thinking, okay, you're taking a pill that's going to help you relax. You're going to be fine. So I'm just sitting there like, first I was like trying to say the ABCs backwards, which is really hard, but if you're trying to distract yourself, it works a little bit. And then I just started counting my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just like did that several times. But then the whole time while I was doing all that, I'm like just crying, because that was the kind of panic attack it was. So truthfully, if I had to compare all of the times that I've had these episodes, that one right there was probably the very worst in terms of how I dealt with it, how bad it felt, how scary I felt, and I don't know, I guess just the overall feeling that I was left with afterwards, of thinking, one of these times this panic is going to get so bad that I'm truly not going to be able to breathe, and I don't know what to do. Like, does it get so bad then like somebody has to do CPR? Like, see what I mean? I'm like so not educated on this. I don't know what to tell Ken to do to try to help me. Nothing. So that's why I researched it a little bit. I actually downloaded this app called Be Okay, and you can set the time where it just basically says inhale and it counts, and then it says hold for like so many seconds, and then exhale for so many seconds. And you can do like 4, 2, 4 or 4, 2, 8, like just depending if you want really deep breaths or shorter or whatever. So I was actually using it last night because guess what? I started freaking out over my damn nails again. I actually had texted Carly. She had friends over. I'm like, can you come here? Ken was down in the basement. And I feel like sometimes the stuff he says and does will actually make it worse. Because when we were on the airplane and I was like leaning over like this, like counting, he started rubbing my back, and oh my God, like, I was like, don't touch me. So that was something I learned too, but like him touching me made it worse. But I I don't know, just sometimes the things he says and does, maybe it's because he's trying to blow it off and I don't want him to blow it off, but then I don't want him to make it like worse than it is, because then I'm gonna panic even more. So I just knew that Carly would bring a lighter tone to the situation. So I texted her, I'm like, can you come here? So she comes in and I'm like, I just downloaded this app to try to help me breathe because I'm freaking out over my nails again. They're hurting my fingers. I need to get them off. And she's just like, Mom, come on. What is wrong with you? Why do you keep getting those nails if you don't like them? But I do like them. I love having acrylic nails. I love when my nails look like this. Because if I'm not biting my nails, I'm breaking my nails. Like, this is the only way to get your nails to look nice. I already have an appointment coming up on Wednesday. I like this. I want to keep it. I want to figure out how to work through whatever my issues are. Anyways, I worked through that pretty easily with talking to her in the app. It really wasn't that, it was very minor, but I just started to panic again over stinking nails. So I don't know, you guys. I just know that I'm trying to read more. I have a website that I saved that basically has, let's see, like different things that you can do from the downloading the app. That was one of the things. There's breathing techniques. There's, let's see, what was the other thing that was on this website that I bookmarked? Of course not. Oh, okay. 12 ways to calm your anxiety. So again, is this what I should be looking up, or do I need to be looking up panic attacks? Is it the same thing? It's just sometimes so confusing to me. So I really feel like that's why I want to go to a doctor, get properly diagnosed. I don't want it to be like, oh, every day I'm experiencing anxiety. I need to be on like medication every day. No, I'm not to that point. And I truthfully, with all my heart, like it could even make me get emotional just thinking about like anybody who has to deal with this on a daily basis. I cannot imagine. Just because I know it's weird, because I don't want to use the word stupid, because I know it's a triggering word for people, but you feel kind of stupid. I don't know what else to call it. You just feel sort of like you can't explain what it is that causes you to feel this way. You just know that you can't control it. So all the things I'm reading, I find a lot of hope in the fact that there are people who find solutions. They find either a medication, or they find maybe like practicing yoga or meditation, where you're finding ways to control your breathing, control your thoughts. Because the biggest part is when I personally start to have this like moments of panic, is I feel a huge lack of control. So I think that that's something that I could learn. A lot of people that DM me through Instagram suggested that therapy could even help. I don't think that I'm quite to that point. I'm not saying that, like, first of all, I'm one of these people who thinks if anybody can afford to go to like therapy once or twice a month, who doesn't need therapy? I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. So I'm not saying like I'm afraid to go that route. I just don't want that to be like my only solution. If it's like an addition to some other suggestions that the doctor makes, I just don't want her to be like, oh, you're just having emotional issues, go to therapy, that'll fix it. I don't feel like that is really quite gonna be a solution. So I don't know. One of the primary things that I have read thus far that I feel like would be most understandable in this situation is that some women have premenopausal panic attacks and anxiety, and I think that this very much could be a hormonal thing for me, just because I've not experienced this really but a few very minor times in the past several years. I've never really experienced this throughout my life otherwise. I've always been a very like highly emotional person, but I don't like really define myself as someone who's like not in control of thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. So I really do think that it could be hormonal. I know last time I went to the gynecologist, she gave me an order to go have blood work done, and I am guilty of not having it done yet. I don't know why. I have zero excuse. I just feel like now, if I'm gonna fast and like go get that blood work done, I would rather get established with a physician. I'm gonna go to an internal medicine physician, get established with that doctor, and have them decide if there's any other additional blood work that should be done along with the blood work that my gynecologist ordered. Probably just throw that order away and get a new order from the internal medicine doctor. So that is where I'm at with everything. It's I'm not like scared of the results or nervous that I'm gonna like learn something that like can't be fixed. I'm hopeful that like we'll find some answers and there'll be some methods and things that I can put in place to deal with this. It's just like I said, it's really just hard to think about that there are just people that like literally can't even get up and go to their job on a daily basis because they deal with this. So I certainly don't want to ignore it and have it be something that gets worse. One of the articles that I did read, that's what I thought of. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I keep ignoring this and don't do anything about it? And before I know it, you know, I just had this visualized moment of down the road, I'm like a grandmother and my kids bring their kids over, and oh, grandma can't even get out of bed today and come see the grandkids because she's dealing with her anxiety. Like, this is the weird stuff my head thinks, but just being honest here. So yeah, I made this video just because I want to share with you guys where I'm at with all of it, and also to document what I'm going through, where I'm feeling, or what I'm feeling, and where I'm planning on going from here, because I forget things really badly here lately, and I feel like, I don't know, down the road, whether it be with a physician, a therapist, whatever, I'll always have this to come back to be like, wait, what happened again? Here we are. So feel free to comment down below any experiences you have, feedback, suggestions. Let's just help each other. I know I'm not alone in this situation. This is a common, very common issue that people have to deal with, men and women. So let's just be there for each other. And I appreciate you guys for following along and listening and helping me any way you can. And hopefully in this whole process, I can help you in some way too. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.